think they're in trouble. This is a pretty cool minifig. This I don't like. Make a good product and it will sell on its own. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to take a look at two sets from the Ninjago theme, and that's because they're both on the cheaper end of the spectrum. And growing up, that's where I was lying with my money when it came to acquiring sets. I didn't have the money to be buying the bigger sets. Maybe for my birthday or the holiday season, I would get something like the Piraka Stronghold or Sentai Fortress, the bigger sets in general. And my point with this is that I think there is an art within the Lego sets that's kind of been lost that I'm currently only seeing in Ninjago. Back in the day, we had Vikings, we had Aqua Raiders, we had Alpha Team, we had so many different unique original themes that Lego was putting out, where in almost every set you had some sort of vehicle potentially and then a creature that kind of created a battle scenario that came in the box. You would very often find these types of sets on the shelves in these different original themes. And that is something that I miss, because back in the day, if you were going on a long flight, you could pick up one of those sets and be entertained for like 8 hours straight. And I don't see that type of creative flair in sets anymore. And I saw a great video by Brickmaster Harry talking about the same thing, that we've kind of lost those type of play features or playability in sets. In 2005, we at least had 5 original themes that were running from Lego. They were Bionicle, Knight's Kingdom, Vikings, Exo-Force, and Dino Attack. And although Knight's Kingdom and Bionicle came in their own kind of system, they also did have normal Lego bricks sets. But all of these themes kind of had this battle in a box type of feature, which was great for playability. You always kind of filled in the gap. You didn't need the full story. A lot of them came with kind of comic strips in the back, which kind of pointed out like, yeah, the robots are evil in Exo-Force and the humans are good. Now it's up to you to fill in the blanks. Same goes for Vikings. You got a creature that looked a little bit evil, and then the Vikings, and you figure out, yeah, they need to defend themselves from this horrible creature. With Dino Attack, you get the point. The dinosaurs are attacking the city. You got to defend yourself. In 2007, Bionicle was still running strong. They had their system sets and they had their Technic sets. Exo-Force was, I think, on their last year, not doing as well. But that year we got Mars Mission, we got Aqua Raiders, and we got... what is the last one? Castle. We got a reboot of Castle, which was a little bit edgier. But my point being, a lot of these themes came with battle in a box scenarios. And I think that type of storytelling is so much more productive for children and young adults and adults such as myself today. I think that little spark of coming up with the story yourself has kind of been lost, especially when you look at Star Wars sets, considering that we have no Acolyte sets at all, which might be for the best for Lego at least. But my point being, a lot of sets nowadays seem to do well if they're based off of a scene or a movie that did well. And I think that's a shame, because growing up I played around with the TIE Crawler, which Lego came up with themselves, and back then it didn't feel like we need to rely on a successful story for a set to be successful, and that's why I'm drawn to Ninjago. Even though there is a quite successful show, I think, out there, I'm probably not going to take a look at it anytime soon, because for now I just want to enjoy the sets based on what I see. I don't want to get a set just because the scene that it came from is epic, and I don't think that is any way to sell a product. Make a good product and it will sell on its own, I would hope, but maybe that's not the society we live in anymore. In 2025, we have 3 original themes that I could count that has a little bit of imagination to it. It's Dreams, Ninjago, and Monkey Kid. And I think all of these actually have their own shows or some sort of media. If you look to Bionicle, you'll understand why a too rich story can also be the downfall of a theme. But then if you look at the reboot, you'll see that the lack of a story will also lead to the downfall of a theme. I'm not sure where the balance lies there. I think Exo-Force and Vikings were really cool themes. I'm not sure if they did very well, but at least when you picked up the sets, you filled in the gap. You weren't spoon-fed the story, and I think with something like Lego, that really is whatever you make it. I don't think we need to be spoon-fed the content. With that said, let's take a look at the 2 sets that I picked up that I think still does hold some sort of creative value when it comes to playing around with them and building them. The first set is going to be Kai's Ninja Race Car EVO. 94 pieces, 1 minifig, and $7 spent. And I think that's a pretty good deal. And judging by the image, it looks pretty sizable for being such a small set. And that's something that I love to see. I know that if you gave this to a kid on an airplane, they're gonna be entertained for hours just driving it around. In terms of a box design, it's very standard at the front. We got Kai driving down a road with a temple in the background. I got the Bionicle Dream vibes from the Climber mech, but what is going on the back here? This is definitely giving graphic design as my passion level of effort. I don't know what Lego's doing with these box designs. When I was a kid, I would kind of get my story from the box design, and the art that they would put there was always quite intriguing, but I don't think this is sparking any imagination. I understand that this is maybe the gimmick of the set, that if you take pieces apart and then add them back on, that this is like the evolution of the set, but that's a little bit of a weird gimmick to me. Like, I'm not gonna take pieces apart and put them back on and now it's like awesome. Like, that is what combiner sets were for before. You get 2 sets, you put them together, and now it's a bigger set. But to do that with the one set that you got is a little bit weird to me. But anyway, let's take a look at another set. The Imperium Dragon Hunter Hound. This is a set that I've been really excited for, considering that it's a little bit reminiscent of the Ferris Wolf set from Vikings. Comes in at 198 pieces, 3 minifigs, and picked up for 17 bucks. Pretty good deal. This is definitely gonna entertain you for a while if you're a kid. Lots of different stories you can tell with something like this. Taking a look at the front of the box, it's very standard. We still have the Dragon's Rising chapter in the front. In the right corner, we get our characters, which is Lloyd, Jay, and the Imperium Claw General. And in the right corner, we have a different dragon and a different ninja from the last set that I reviewed. I'm not familiar with the names of these characters yet. I'm sure I will be in the future. And we can see that there is a battle taking place here, which I think is really exciting, and it will probably inspire for some creative play for kids or adults. Taking a look at the back, it really is just like the Climber mech. There's nothing different going on here. It's a different picture, but it's essentially the exact same aesthetic. On the side here, we have a picture of Lloyd, or Lloyd, as they said in the Lego Ninjago movie. I'm not sure which one's correct. I haven't seen the show yet. With that said, let's crack open the small set first. Are you looking for independent reviews that go above and beyond? Subscribe today for free of charge. Whenever my family and I would go on road trips when I was a kid, they would get me a small Lego set. And one of the sets that I got was the Astro Fighter from Mars Mission before a road trip to Italy. And then another point, I got the Trike, and they were in around a similar price range, the Astro Fighter being $5 and the Trike being 10. So this is within the same price range, so I'm going to be very curious to see how this build is going to be, considering it is quite small, but it seems to be compact and quite buff, so let's get into it. Sweet! We get 3 stickers, which is 3 more than 0, but it's not bad. I can do 3. And they're big too, so I don't know if I'll need that much precision. And then we get 2 bags. These wheels are definitely new to me, and I'm excited to use them. Generally, I'm really impressed by the amount of pieces here, and I actually wish that I was on a train or going somewhere when building this set, because it's hitting me a bit in the feels, you know? It's been a while since I was on a road trip with my parents, and yeah, this just seems like a good time, so let's start. We actually do get something which is very reminiscent of my childhood, with 1 and 2 cartoon images of Kai. One being him running towards the car, and the other one with him blasting off. This is really hitting me right in the feels. Okay, let's start off with bag 1 out of 1. I don't know if this is for aesthetic purposes yet, or if this has some new clutch power, but we're about to find out. One thing that I forgot to mention in the last review is that the original hood pieces that the ninjas used in the first wave of Ninjago and continued to use it until I think 2020 was the exact same molded piece as the original ninja theme from 1998, which I think is pretty fantastic. Here is a pretty simple minifig, does the job. It's Kai once again, and yeah, and that is the first step of the build. Just looking at the pieces, I really like the colorway here, this Keat orange for you Bionicle fans, and red, like it really works quite well. I guess it's the McDonald's colors too, if you look at it that way. but let's not look at it that way. I don't think they've changed this piece at all since I was a kid. My first actual Bionicle set was the black Borak, I think it was called Nuvok. And I received it also on a road trip. We were driving from Sweden to Switzerland. So yeah, that was my first Bionicle. I have a lot of good memories of receiving Lego sets before a fight or a road trip. So building one of these smaller sets, it's quite nostalgic. But one of the things that my mom was very adamant about was that I didn't get to build them when I was small. New piece alert. That is a clever technique. Kind of locking the two pieces together. Pretty cool. Looks pretty good. One of the details that I actually saw when I got this set and when I checked it out online is this little exhaust, or I don't know what you want to call it, on the sides here. I'll show once I've attached them. But I thought it was a pretty neat detail for such a small set. Like it really adds something, this stuff on the side. It looks pretty cool to me. Oh no, this is so scratched. This is a new piece for me, but it is pretty beat up. Ooh, big boy tires. Then you add a little sword piece down here. It's pretty cool, pretty cool. We get another cartoon strip where Kai has gotten stuck in some sort of swampy environment, which I think is going to explain the EVO term and the gimmick, which is, yeah, you add the extra features and now he's gonna get himself out of trouble. So you switch the tires around. This is making for an interesting building process that I didn't expect. Yeah, cool, 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 cool. This is a new piece for me, and it's nice to see that it has the Technic holes so that you could use them for Bionicle or Exo-Force or wherever you want to use these. Yeah, and that's cool. And then we get another cartoon strip of, yeah, now Kai is out of trouble. When I was a kid, $10 would get you a battle pack from Star Wars, and I'm not sure what $10 would get you today from a licensed theme, but this is pretty good for being $7. I mean, it's a sturdy build, it's fun, and this would look great alongside any other Ninjago set. Like, there's no compromise here, I don't think. This is definitely something a kid will enjoy, and as an adult, I'm enjoying it too, considering it's a good set. I really don't think that a good set is determined by its price, and if you had included this in a massive set that's like 300 or 200 bucks, it would make sense there too. Small set, big set, this is a good set. Let's just add Kai in here too, just to see what that looks like. In comparison to the Astro Fighter, this looks great. It looks more proportionate, and Kai is really like sitting in the car. It's not slightly like covered by the windshield, it's fully covered. I'm very impressed by this, and yeah, something like this is great for the Ninjago fans, whether they're old or young. Like this is a solid set. This is exactly what I wanted it to be. Really cool. Let's get on to the second set. The Imperium Claw General looks like a pretty cool minifig considering the helmet piece and the face print. So I'm really excited to crack this one open and also see the weapon piece, because that looks very cool and it has that translucency, which I love. So let's see what's inside this box. Once we open the box, we get 3 bags, the instructions, and 2 stickers, which is 1 less than the car, but 2 more than I wanted originally. Bag number 1. I can't help but to look at Lloyd and think that he looks a little bit, for some reason, like Liwaf, the Toamata edition. There's something so nostalgic about a minifig like this, but he's so well detailed, and yeah, I love it. I'm a fan of Ninjago. When looking at this set before, I didn't think it was gonna include orange, but I welcome it. Looks pretty good against the black and the dark red and the nougat and beige. Yeah, it looks good. Feels a little uncalled for. And we got Jay walking around at the bottom showing us how far into the build we got. That's nice. On the 3-in-1 creator dog set that I got for my birthday, it used them as ears. It's fun to see them being used creatively, because in this case it's fur, but I've seen it been used as like claws or feet before, so fun to see them use this piece creatively. New piece alert for me, definitely. This is pretty cool. This set is definitely going to demolish the Lego Vikings wolf. This is so like beefy already. I don't think this set could possibly get better. I think it's the perfect proportions, and I think it would be a great foe for the climber mech. Maybe not just one, but several of these hounds. In terms of story or plot, I have no clue what this hound does. But I think that's the beauty of Ninjago and Lego, that I think they've created another theme where your imagination can kind of decide what should happen. And considering that this is a pretty sizable and beefy foe, I think it would definitely crush Kai in his car. So it's going to be fun to see what the scale of this thing is going to become. But now we're on to bag number 2, where we get to build Jay. Bag number 2. Thank God that this is printed, because I was worried that these were going to be stickers, and I was even more worried that when I build the Source Dragon of Motion, that would have stickers on its face too. But I'm very glad that this is at least a printed piece. Another great Jay figure. Ah, that is very clever, how that pops in and completely covers up the sides here. Ah, very nice. NPU, nice part usage. Ooh, that is nice. Wow, I've never seen that before. A little bit of technique. Yeah, Kai's car is gonna have problems with something that's already pretty much the same size as the car. Yeah, these ninjas are in trouble, but so is Kai. Ah, that's so genius, because it only has one attachment point here, but then when you add the second one, it's like one of these fur-esque pieces, locks it in place pretty sturdy now. Yeah, Kai, I'm sorry, but you're in trouble, and so is Lloyd and Jay. These little pyramid pieces are translucent. Not only do I like the shape, but they're translucent. I've been sleeping on Ninjago. I mean, I've been watching it develop for years, like behind the scenes, just going on Brickset every now and then to see what's up. Yeah, this is looking really good. Hope you guys aren't sleeping on Ninjago. Okay, yeah, this is coming along. Now we got the ears and the mouth. Yeah. Yeah, this is my type of set. Oh, they are in trouble. They're in trouble. That is pretty big in comparison. Let's go. Okay, on to bag number 3. That sword piece, the translucent orange with the gunmetal gray, that helmet piece, that face print, this is a pretty cool minifig. And you also get it in a relatively cheap set. That, Lego. Now we're building one of the leg pieces. Starting off, it's looking a little bit flimsy, but we'll see how this all locks together. Ninjago has proven me wrong before. Okay, yeah, liking it, locking it in with a fur piece. Adding one of these side panel pieces. Let's go. You guys are in trouble. I like these pieces, especially in gold. They just feel a little bit special. I am liking this. Pretty cool building technique that I've never used before, but it works. Second back leg done. Yeah, I'm sorry, Kai. I think they're in trouble. Then we add this little flag. This I don't like. The clip piece does only attach at one point, and it leaves one of the clips completely empty. I don't think that looks good. There were definitely other ways this could have been achieved without leaving that clip piece empty. And then we add the general on top. This is a great combination of two sets. If you're going on a road trip and you get these two or just one of them, you're gonna have a fantastic time, especially because this thing is so big in comparison to the Ninjas, and even the car alone can probably not defeat it. You could put this thing up against the mech or several of them, and I think it's a sizable foe. I think this is what I've been missing when it comes to Lego Star Wars a little bit. The imagination, and I understand that maybe Star Wars doesn't leave room for imagination because it takes precise scenes very often and just replicates that, but this has room for creativity. This is what 20 years of improvement looks like on Exo-Force behalf or on Vikings behalf. We're getting bigger creatures that are more poseable, that are less skeleton-esque and hollow. This is great. I absolutely love this. Before taking a look at the Imperium Hunter Hound set, let's take a look at the minifigs. First off, we got Lloyd with dual katanas and a dual face print and some nice back printing. Next up, we got Jay with dual katanas as well, along with a dual face print and some neat back printing. Then we have the Imperium Claw General, who has an awesome staff along with a really cool helmet. He has a dual face print, but I don't think the back of it is his face, and then some neat back printing. The Dragon Hunter Hound has articulation in the tail, feet, toes, shoulders, neck, ear, and mouth. And by the support of the tail, it can actually stand up on its own. I used the included extra cheese slope to make the nose look a bit better, I think. When it comes to a cheaper set like this one, I am so happy to have built this set because this is everything that I want out of any type of set. I want a good build that doesn't compromise anywhere and a nice minifig selection. And for 17 bucks, this is great. The blend of some Technic methods in the Hound is great, and it really beefs up this very stable build. If you push the feet back enough and then use the tail for balance, you can get it to stand up, and the posability of this thing is great. I don't know which mode I prefer, when it's on all four or standing up. I feel like it's a little bit of a werewolf design. I know it's a Hound, but I like to have it standing up. I think it's pretty cool, especially because it becomes all that more menacing when it's fighting against the ninjas. I don't know what the context of the Hound's introduction is yet, but I really think that this set provides you with a ton of playability and a fun building process. Considering the set is on the cheaper side, I really like that we get a minifig such as the Imperium Claw General, because he really feels a bit premium, and I know he shows up in other sets, but I really like his inclusion here. And I really do think that with this set, you are gonna have a good time because there are so many stories to tell with a set like this. Playability, good building techniques, great minifig selection, and a lot of posability. That's what you want out of a set. The only minifig in this set is Kai with a yellow and red sleeve and a katana, dual face print, and a decent back print. And then of course we got the awesome car itself. When it comes to Kai's Ninja Race Car EVO, this is also one of those great sets and a huge improvement in the last 20 years in terms of building techniques and what we can actually create when it comes to the brick system. When I was younger, a lot of the cockpits was just a windshield, and sometimes it would cover up on the sides, but a lot of the times you'd have to use your imagination to literally fill in the gaps. The sets weren't that great. For the time they were, but now we have stuff like this, and this is such an improvement. Although this is maybe not the most creative set, I still think that you can have a lot of fun with something this simple. There's no compromise in the size of this thing. Kai fits very well inside of the cockpit. There are no gaps. It's very sturdy. I really think it is proportionate to the minifig scale, and it might just be that the rest of the cars are very oversized. The EVO gimmick was a little bit strange to me, considering it feels like a combiner set, but in the set that it came in. but I welcomed it. It was a little bit of a more interesting build experience than I'm used to. My partner spent $26 on both of these together, and I really think that's a pretty good deal considering we don't get as many battle in a box sets these days, especially not for cheap. And in comparison to the battle packs from Star Wars, I definitely think that you're getting way better builds with both of these. It might be unfair to compare an original theme to a licensed theme, considering that the licensed themes will always be a little bit more expensive, but I really think that Ninjago has nailed it when you pair these two together. I know that story-wise they might not, but who cares? At the end of the day, I really think that we should come up with our own stories when we play around with these Lego sets and not depend on a story that someone else came up with. Putting these sets next to the mech looked so awesome. It was really fun to play around with, and I really think that the Hound is a great foe for the mech. I know it might not make sense in terms of story, but I think it looks great nonetheless. The playability and the storytelling opportunities with these sets is endless. Let me know if there are some really cool battle in a box sets out there. I know that they exist, but I feel like some of them are locked behind a very expensive price, and that is not how it used to be when I was growing up. So let me know if there are some good sets out there. The next set that I'll be reviewing is another set that my partner actually gifted me, and it's a Star Wars set, so stay tuned to that if that's what you enjoy. And with that said, I just want to thank everyone for liking, commenting, and subscribing and sharing the videos. It really means a lot to me, but with that said, I now need to go and walk my dog.